I needed a low-cost and easy-to-make alternative to these self-watering pots. Let me show you what I came up with. Okay, so we're going to build our own self-watering pot today using low-cost materials and a very easy process. I had been in the market for something to replace self-watering pots that were kind of overly expensive to me when you have 150 or 200 plants and growing because of outside influences. I'll blame it on somebody. You need low-cost alternatives. It's why I also started out when I started collecting plants, collecting rainwater, just because it was a cheaper alternative than going out and buying bottled water, because I knew the city water would never be good for plants. So anyways, not to get sidetracked, I was looking for a solution to the high cost of self-watering pots, and I came up with the idea of using disposable cups. And I went through several itinerations, several ideas along that line. And I started out with a Glad. I used some of their cups because they were kind of cutesy with the tropical leaves on them. But the cup that I really liked for an inner pot just didn't fit well inside this cup. This is a cup by a company called World-Centric, and the cups are compostable. And they're just a really nice fit for an 8-ounce cup. They're 12 ounces, so my inner cup is 12 ounces, and what I wanted to find was something 18 ounces that would work with this inner cup. And I stumbled across a cup at our local Kroger. It's by Solo, and it's their 18-inch model. This one's in blue. They have a really nice translucent, semi-clear, green colored pot or cup that I would like to get and try. But they had this one available, so I bought this one without having the other cup with me. But I got it home and I put the cup in, and I was thrilled because this cup, the World-Centric cup, sits perfectly down on. That's exactly what I was looking for. So my combination became this 18-ounce Solo cup with the square bottom, which is kind of cool too. It's got kind of a nice look, and you can find them in several different colors. I've seen gold, I've seen yellow, I've seen reds everywhere. Silver, this nice blue. Like I said, there's a see-through, clear-ish, green-colored pot that you can get. But they all have the same look, and they all fit this cup, which makes it perfect, in my opinion, for most Hoyas, philodendrons, anthuriums when they're younger. But Hoyas, this is about as big as I'll ever get with most of my Hoyas. There's a few that have grown into larger 6-inch pots, and I'm sure they could grow bigger. But for the most part, I think most Hoyas will stay in this one. So this is my combination. I use a World-Centric cup, 12 ounces, and this Solo 18-ounce cup for my cash pot, my outer pot. And we will next get into setting it up, getting the self-watering aspect set up, and just getting our pot ready to go. Okay, so we have everything here to make our self-watering pots. We have our cups. We have our soldering iron. And we have our wicking string, a pair of scissors, and a lighter. So we're going to start out by burning some holes in the bottom of our inner pot. I usually put 5-6 holes in the bottom of this just to make sure that I've got good drainage. So I usually start out with the 2 biggest holes that I'm going to run my strings through. And I will just drop this in there and wiggle it around a little bit to make the holes a little bit bigger. So those will be my string holes, and then I usually just spread out around the cup with a few more holes. They don't need to be too big. And then because this inner part sits higher than the outer rim part of the bottom of the cup, I'm going to put some holes in that rim area as well, so that no water is just sitting inside our pot. So there you have it. That was nice and easy. I use a soldering iron. You can use a hot glue gun if you have one at home. They work just as well. I've just found that with hot glue guns, they take quite a bit longer to warm up and get to a temperature where they're able to melt the plastic. Soldering irons warm up really quickly, so they burn those holes really quick. But you can see we have our holes. The two biggest you see in there are going to be the ones that we're going to put our string through, and then the other holes are just for drainage. Okay. So then we'll work on our wicking string, and this was actually bought as wicking string. I'm not sure what makes it different than any other string, but it said wicking string, so I bought it. And we're going to cut a section that's about 6 or 8 inches long. And I find that's a perfect size to get up inside the soil and then sit down in the water inside our cache pot. Inside our cache pot. So there we have our string. And what I like to do, and this step isn't exactly necessary, but I like to burn the two ends and just to make them tighter so that it's easier to put it inside my self-watering pot and feed those down through to get into the water down below. So I just take a lighter, and as carefully as possible, because I don't want to burn our house down,
look what I have created!
I will just burn these little edges until it's a nice tight ball at the end. Just like that. Just like that. I don't know with wicking strings if you're supposed to leave that undone just to help wick the water, but I've never had any kind of issue with those being burned. So let's go ahead and do the other end. Okay. So there we have that. It'll take these a few seconds here to cool down, but they're not too bad just to touch them at this point, but just be careful. So we have our string set up. We have our cup set up with our holes drilled, and I like to run the strings down through the cup with the open ends into the water so that the loop is up inside my soil. You could do it either way, and I have done it both ways, but I've found that I like this method the best. And all I'm going to do is feed the two ends of my strings down through those larger holes in the bottom of my inner pot. Nice and easy. So that you end up with something that looks like this. Hope you can see that. And then what I'll do is I will fill in the soil, making sure to kind of get it around the loop inside my cup. And then so that this is sitting inside the actual soil and not pressed down against the bottom or whatever, I will gently put it in around there so that this sticks up inside the soil. So there we kind of have it. That's all there is to it, really. We've got our self-watering aspect set up with our wicking string. We've got plenty of drainage holes in the bottom of our cup so that we're not going to have excess water sitting in the bottom of our cup. And it's ready to go inside our cache pot, just like that. I don't know how well you'll be able to see down in there, but those strings sit perfectly on the bottom of this cup. And there's just enough space, about this much, at the bottom of the cup for a water reservoir. And I think that's a perfect amount. I don't want to be overwatering my plant and have them sitting in water. So I tend to fill just inside the O in solo, and that just is about the bottom of my clear inner cashpo, my clear inner pot. So there you have it. That's all there is to it. This is what it looks like with an actual plant inside. This is my Hoya sulawesiana, and she just loves this setup. But as you can see, there's our strings. They're perfectly wet. They've been sitting down in that water, and you can see on the side of this cup, there's plenty of moisture in there. There's a few roots that really aren't good enough to see. Hoyas tend to have smaller roots, but this is the setup that I have on several of my Hoyas. I do have it on also on some anthuriums. This is my no ID anthurium that was supposed to be a papillium. Yeah, it's definitely not a papillium, but it's pretty anyways. So, but it also likes this setup. You can tell with this one because there are roots everywhere. It's just filled with roots and no root rot. So that's a good point too. So that's all there is to it, folks. The nice thing about it is, like I said, I was looking for something inexpensive. If you buy these on Amazon, the solo 18-ounce cups you can buy for about $10.44 for 50 cups, which comes out to about 21 cents per cup. The world-centric cups, they're 12 ounces and clear. They are $21.44 for 100 cups, which makes it 21 cents also per cup. So you're looking at spending, with the wicking string, about 50 cents per self-watering pot. I mean, I don't know how you can beat that. And it's a great setup for your smaller plants, your Hoyas, your smaller anthuriums and philodendrons are going to love it. So once again, this is what we use here at Gathering Moss for our self-watering pots. This is a solo cup with a world-centric cup and a wicking string. Okay, friends, so that's going to do it for today's video. I appreciate you stopping by again. We are so grateful for all of the people that have signed up to be subscribers to our channels in the last 2 weeks. It's truly mind-boggling, and we're very thankful for each one of you. Hope you've learned something from the video today. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. Give us a thumbs up if you'd like. We really appreciate it. And think about becoming a subscriber to the channel, and so you get those notifications when the next video comes out. Once again, thank you so much for stopping in, and we hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye, everyone.